What's up, guys, and welcome back. But before I get into all the chit-chat, I want you to do something for me. I want to show you something. Quite a few subscribers from time to time say that when I publish stuff, they don't get it in their feed. And there might be a simple reason. So if you go to my channel page on YouTube, that's youtube.com/thesnowcrash, you'll see over here on the top right, for anyone who's subscribed, it'll look a little bit like this. Oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and then it'll look like this. But one cool feature is, see this little gear icon here? Just click on it and it'll bring up a box like this. And for some strange reason, YouTube starts with this unticked. Just tick that little box there, send me all notifications for this channel, save it, and you're as good as gold. Because I know quite a few viewers are going to be clicking off in the first 15 seconds or so I just wanted to get that out of the way. So some of the things I'm going to be talking about in this episode are the questions you've asked. I'm going to be talking about the Hermit Chunk Challenge series, which is ended. I'm also going to talk about Hypermine, Hermitcraft, the things that might be happening in the future on this channel, and finally, other stuff that I want to talk about. Okay, first up, the Hermit Chunk Challenge series has obviously come to an end, and I know a lot of people are sad about it, but I just wanted to explain a few things. The first one is the obvious, why did it end? I know a lot of you wanted it to keep on going, and it's a pretty simple explanation. I've observed with other YouTubers and other channels that run a series out hundreds and hundreds of episodes that any new viewers or new audience that comes to it very rarely will go back to the beginning and watch it. In fact, they generally won't even start watching the series because they look at it and go, oh, we're at episode 200 or something. There's no way I can catch up. So I wanted to make a compact, useful, high-quality set of episodes that were manageable for a new viewer. So with 20 episodes, it's about 9 or 10 hours worth of content. It's very realistic that a new viewer will get on, start at episode 1, probably get through to the end, and they're going to get something out of it. I'm going to talk more about the Hermit Chunk Challenge later on, about technical aspects, the story, that kind of thing. But for the moment, let's move on to another topic. My Hypermine Let's Play series. And for anybody who's new, that was a 23 episode series that ran I think from about February to December last year. It was on the Hypermine multiplayer survival server. And in the end, the episodes just sort of stopped. And honestly, guys, that's not the way I wanted it to end. And I think you can sort of see that in the Hermit Chunk Challenge series where I did it very differently. So just to understand a little bit about Hypermine, when I arrived, there was a lot of active members, there was builders, there was technical guys, a lot of activity, a lot of buzz on the server. A lot of the technical stuff had already been done. They had a lot of massive farms and all that sort of stuff, which is obviously my forte and my passion. So that didn't stop me. I got into it. I don't mind a challenge, and I did a lot of good stuff on the server. But over the course of last year, a lot of the active members sort of fizzled out and became less active. Some of them left the server. I think as a result of that, my enthusiasm and motivation dropped off quite a bit towards the end of last year, and as a result, I really didn't see a future in keeping the episodes going. Now, I should point out, around that time, we did get an intake of a bunch of new members, and those guys are really good. They're still going strong today, but I think it was too late for me. Once you've mentally gone over that curve, to come back and reinvigorate myself, I needed something new. So the episodes just stopped. Look, I could Phoenix the old map and continue it on or finish it. It may be something I do. There was no real story to that particular series, so it's like, what difference is it going to make? So after that, after 2 years of Minecraft pretty much, I decided to just take a little bit of a break away from Minecraft. I got into an indie game called Hermitcraft. Now, I knew that wasn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, so to speak, and that it probably wasn't going to appeal to a vast quantity of my audience. But there was a good couple thousand people that were interested in watching it. I ran it only for about 7 episodes. The game was sort of alpha or beta. It was just something I could get into, have fun, not stress about it, and it just gave me a bit of a break from making the Minecraft episodes. It also gave me the time to think about and construct the next project, which you've now all seen, the Hermit Chunk Challenge, and I think it was just something that I needed to do, and I'm pretty sure all of you understand that. And just to finish up on Hypermine, I am still a member, I think. There are actually quite a few people you guys have probably heard of that actually started on Hypermine. Slipgator, False Symmetry, those kind of guys, they started on Hypermine. Zul'jin, I shouldn't forget, also he actually started the Hypermine server. So it's a bit of a legendary place. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I could go back anytime. They did reset their map around March, and I was very tempted to go back, but I was already running the Hermit Chunk Challenge series. It was chewing up a lot of my time, and I didn't want that to suffer. Okay, so let's talk about a few things that I'm probably not going to be doing again. On Hypermine, I did a couple of mega builds, and we're talking big builds, and I have a sort of philosophy on what I think the viewers want to see, or what most of the viewers want to see. Now, there's always going to be a small bunch of people that are happy to watch you placing blocks, block after block and chit-chatting away, and that's fine. And that's great. I mean, I appreciate all viewers from the whole spectrum, but I am trying to build a channel here, and I am trying to appeal to a big audience. So I have a bit of a philosophy that people don't really like, seeing mega builds being built over, dozens of episodes. So on Hypermine, I pushed myself a little bit too far. A couple of the big builds I did, I'd compress them down into speed builds of only 4 minutes of video or 5 minutes of video for a 60-hour build. I would push myself to build some massive structure within 2 weeks. I'd be putting in 60, 70 hours, and then it's compacted down to just part of an episode. So although it's pretty spectacular to watch, like a 60, 70 hour build being compressed down into 4 minutes, it does look awesome. It's probably not something I'm going to do again. It really can burn you out very quickly. Now, that's not to say I don't build. I love building, and I love building the big architectural stuff, but I'm probably not going to be doing it on camera. I play on numerous other Minecraft servers. They're private. I don't record on them, and I just have fun. Okay, let's talk about Hermitcraft. The first thing I'm going to say is that I have never, ever publicly commented on Hermitcraft, and this is going to be the first and the last time that I ever will. And the reason why I'm commenting at all on it is because there are just so many subscribers and so many viewers talking about it. It's sort of reached fever pitch. I think I've brought it upon myself by using the word hermit in my most recent series, so I'm partially to blame for that, and there was reasons why I did that. Having said that, I'm sure there's a few viewers that understand why I've never publicly commented on it. I'm a professional, and it's just not the right thing to do. So for the uninitiated, I'm just going to explain how things work. With servers like Hermitcraft or Minecraft or even Hypermine for that matter, you don't ask to get on the server. You just don't. How it works is you get invited. So I have the utmost confidence and respect for those members of Hermitcraft who use their judgment to pick and choose who they want on the server. And if an invitation was ever to come my way, I'd certainly give it serious consideration. And interestingly enough, one of my viewers made a particularly poignant statement saying, has anybody ever asked Snowcrash whether he wants to join Hermitcraft? Well, guys, I can't answer that question now, but I would give it a proper assessment as to what I can contribute, what I can do on there, what I can bring you guys, what kind of content. I'd look at all of that. So having said all that, if anything happens, I'll be making sure I let you guys know, but it's the last I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so let's talk about the Hermit Chunk Challenge series. 20 episodes, almost 6 months worth. Wow, it was awesome. I had a lot of fun making that. I put a lot of effort into it, and it was one of my best Let's Plays, pulling between 10 and 20,000 views an episode. I think it's probably got well over 500,000 views on the entire series. I'm really, really proud of that, and hopefully new people find that and watch it. When I was trying to think up a series, I wanted a few criteria. One is I wanted to make sure that I had control over it, and that meant predominantly playing in a single player mode because I've got full control over it. And the second thing is that I wanted this to be successful. And I'm not going to lie about this, I wanted the series to get a running start. So I came up with this idea to just take a chunk out of Hermitcraft and play on it. It's as simple as that. Now, obviously, I'm not going to call it Hermitcraft. That would be completely unprofessional and possibly a copyright violation. So I thought I might use the word hermit. It's fairly generic. It's not really stepping on anyone's toes, but I did contact Azumavoid and cleared it with him that he was okay with it, and hence the name Hermit Chunk Challenge. Now, the idea with the series was that I could showcase, basically over a bunch of episodes, all my inventions, all the little farms in a very practical, survival manner. They're not going to be the biggest, but they're going to be the best for what you've got or that you can use or that you could build in an afternoon or something like that. And for the most part, I think I achieved that goal. We built some awesome stuff on that series, and it really warms my heart that a lot of people achieved that. I had so many comments of people playing along, having fun with it, and they learn a lot of stuff. In fact, I might have even done myself a disservice because I've compacted into 20 episodes so much cool stuff that you sort of ask the question, what are you going to do now? And actually people have asked me in the comments, what are you going to do now? And I'll probably answer that a little later. So the series started off pretty slowly. I didn't want to rush into it too quickly. A few people got bored and I think they clicked off and never came back. It's a bit of a shame because if they had have watched it all the way through, it's not a massive time investment. I think they would have really appreciated it, really enjoyed it till the end. But anyway, that's how the cookie crumbles. As we got going, we built more stuff, more inventions, more farms. It was pretty awesome. And I do want to comment on the story. There was always a story that was going to happen in the series. It didn't quite work out the way I'd plotted it out. So I will say the main villain of the story in the Hermit Chunk Challenge series was actually originally going to be an Ender Girl, which is sort of an extrapolation from Slipgator's original Sliptopia series. There was always this underlying thing about Endermen. And I thought it was a good idea, and I thought I'd apply it in my own way to this series. And it didn't quite work out that way. I knew how it was going to plan out, but then one day, Rabbit killed somebody. Now, that was not planned, and I thought, no, I'm going to take that and run with it, and I adapted the story to fit in with that. Now, I have thought back and thought to myself whether I should have had more story in the earlier episodes. Like the first 10 didn't have a lot, they had a little bit, and then as we progressed towards the end, it got a lot higher production value. But I think personally that would have bogged me down because a lot of effort goes into that story making and stuff that would have then detracted from the farms. And one of the best and actually most exciting farms that I made on that thing for me personally was that passive mob farm. I'd never made one before. I went and looked at whatever, the links are all in the videos, but someone else who's just an expert on it. I looked at it, adapted a little to my own needs. And guys, that thing was phenomenal. I'm really impressed with it. I know Azumavoid over at Hermitcraft is doing the same thing, but when you think about it, the thing's chucking out like cooked meats and it's chucking out wool and feathers, and it's what an awesome farm. Seriously, I was so impressed with how well it works. Now obviously on a chunk world it's going to work really well because there's nothing anywhere else around detracting from the mob cap, but either way I thought it was an awesome idea, and I probably, whatever I do in the future on Minecraft, I probably will do something like that again. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the titles of the videos because I did get a lot of flack about this. And I don't know what to say. Look, I'm going to put whatever's in the title as long as it's not completely misleading or a total outright lie. YouTube's pretty broken, guys. To get any views, to get subscribers, it is a tough game out there. It is brutal. And you have to be very lucky or exceptionally good to build a channel in 2016. I know some people have on different topics, but in terms of Minecraft, it's a tough gig, right? I'm just telling you right now. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying you got to be innovative. You got to be a little bit tricky, and you got to play the system. And one of those things was I could throw titles in there, and they helped. I'm telling you now that they helped. And quite frankly, I don't feel guilty about it at all. I think that I did the right thing. It got the exposure, and a stack of people really enjoyed the episodes. And honestly, anybody that clicked on that, they got good quality content, in my opinion. I'm not making rubbish. I'm trying my very best to make something that's entertaining, that's easy to watch, and I think I achieved that. So let's talk about the episode intros, because I did get a fair bit of flack about that as well. Look, the Hermit Chunk Challenge series was pretty much an experiment for me. There was so much stuff in that I'd never done before, and I really felt like I needed to challenge myself, keep myself motivated, innovate and do different things. And that just meant, honestly, I guess it's my channel, I'll do whatever I want. As long as you guys are enjoying it, I think that's a success. So what I did, I started it off fairly simple, plain vanilla, like I've always done. And as I went, I started to expand out, do for different things. You saw it all. I used the shaders, I used the music, I used the time lapses. I think it worked. Some people didn't like it. I don't know why. I mean, really, it's only a few seconds. It's not like it's in your face for the whole episode. Also, some other people who do go and watch other YouTubers, not game-related YouTubers, saw some similarities in what I was doing with those people, and I guess they felt like, it's not me, why am I copying, whatever. I mean, I need to try different things, and if I get inspired by different people, then so be it. So pretty much I just injected like a concoction of ideas into it. As long as I felt that it flowed and worked and put a smile on people's faces, I think it was a success. As I said, it wasn't in your face for too much. You could skip over it, whatever. All right, so I just wanted to explain that because some people were confused. Why was I doing it? Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some of the behind-the-scenes production on the Hermit Chunk Challenge series. So pretty much in the first 10 episodes, there wasn't extra production put in. It was really just record the episode, edit it, and put it up. Now, that doesn't mean there's not a lot of work. So I'd say for the first 10 episodes, each episode would probably on average consume about 4 hours of recording and maybe 4 hours of editing. Now, as we got through up to episode 12 and onwards, the production time put in ramped up massively. And then as we got towards the end, the episode with False would have probably been 30 hours work. Finally, you had episode 20, the big one, the finale, and that would have had easily 40 or 50 hours work put into it. So yeah, it got crazy, and that you're doing that for the love, but also for the experience. I mean, I learnt a lot. I mean, I have reasonably good skills in a lot of these things, but now I'm even better because I did it. Now, a lot of people have asked me, how did I do this? How did I do that? And there's no way I'm going to go through all that here. It probably would consume your first year of film school in terms of all the different concepts and technical aspects that I used. As the series started to get more animation in it, the last 5 or 6 episodes, what I ended up with was 2 parallel worlds. I had the original survival world. Now, I played on that in survival and we did all our farms and everything else. And every time I needed to, do a recording that had a little bit of animation or do something specific with a camera account or something like that, what I did was I took a copy of the world and did the filming on that. The problem with doing that, and this added a lot of time to the production, was that the worlds would get a little bit out of sync. I would do some filming on the survival world, put a chest down or put some blocks down, and then go back to my filming world and get that world looking almost exactly like the other one, get it in sync. So when I did those cuts over to the filming world, that you guys didn't notice anything strange, and that took up a lot of time. So generally speaking, there's a lot of sound effects put into these things. Like, honestly, there's a lot of ambient noise, a lot of the horse noises, the noises of the hoofs on the stone, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of sound effects put in, and that takes a lot of time as well. All the special effects and things weren't really groundbreaking. They were just composite, where you're laying over one image over the top of the other. And as I said, it wasn't really anything groundbreaking. There was a lot of custom graphics made for this thing, and that took a fair bit of time. One example is the flying horse, good old Kevin. There are no flying horses. There is a modification that allows you to have Pegasus, and what I had to do was that thing looked nothing like Kevin, so I had to sort of retexture that Pegasus to get it looking exactly like Kevin. I also had to change a lot of graphics in the texture packs and resource packs in terms of getting the portal colors a particular way and everything else. So then there was the potions, where not only the look of them had to change, but the wording and everything, so that when you guys looked at it, it looked all seamless. So that had to be changed. And then a real-time consumer was actually the code changes. I had to customize a version of 1.9 to get the rabbits to walk a particular way. And you'll see in the episodes, I mean, it was only a few seconds of these rabbits coming out from behind the trees or walking along something. It's all very quick, but there was a substantial amount of code changes necessary to get that to work. So for those that are interested, one of the cool things I did was carrots. I made the bunnies be able to sense a carrot up to 100 blocks away. So I could have a player off camera holding a carrot, and rabbits from up to 100 blocks away would all sense this carrot and come to it as food. So that was one of the code changes I made. It was very effective and it worked really well. So the only advice I could give to any of you that like that sort of thing or want to do it is you just got to practice. Just start doing it. Google's your friend. You can get on. There is so many resources on Google as to how to do things, tips and tricks. You'll work out your own ways of doing it. So there's just no substitute for actually doing it. Just biting the bullet, starting it and doing it. Set yourself some goals and achieve them. I'll be honest with you guys, the views on the Hermit Chunk Challenge series around episode 15 or 16 started to drop off a little, and I lost a little bit of motivation. At one stage I was like seriously considering I might not get this done. I might not achieve it because I mentally had to get over a hurdle. But you know what? I thought to myself, I don't care if 500 people watch it, if 5 people watch it, or 50,000. I want to finish it, and that was one reason why it did finish. It gave me an objective to get to the end, put in the best effort I could in the time that I had, and get that episode 19 and 20 out and just do it. That was the thing. I just got off my ass and did it. Let's do some Q&A. In the final episode, I asked you guys to ask any questions, and I'm going to answer those now. Quite a few of the questions have already been answered. What's my favourite colour? Tough question. I like purples, but I'd probably say my favourite colour is like a bright grass green. Next question is, what do I do for a living? So the easiest way to answer this would be that I advise businesses on the best way to run, how to be more efficient, what kind of people to hire, what kind of people to get rid of, how to improve efficiency, how to improve productivity. So in a sense, I don't really have a boss, and that obviously gives me the freedom to do other things, but all of us really do have a boss in one way or another. Someone pays me money so that I can live, and they call the shots. But that's essentially how I use my skills to earn a living. Next question is, will I make a world download available of the Hermit Chunk Challenge world? And unfortunately, the answer is no. I know that's going to disappoint a lot of people. That's just a decision I made right at the beginning. I have obviously provided the empty world so that you can play along. I'm not going to be making my world available. How did I begin my epic YouTube channel? All right, this is a long story. How do I keep it short? Okay, I used to do a lot of streaming long time ago on Justin TV, and I got really burnt out. I was doing like stacks and stacks of it, got quite a good following, and just sort of quit making content altogether for a couple of years. Back 2.5 years ago, I thought, look, I'll make some YouTube stuff. I started on a SMP server with some friends, and I thought we'd just document some of the inventions we make and stuff like that. So I started putting out some pretty, I don't know, they're a bit cringy videos, redstone stuff. And, it just sort of started from there. Now, I knew nothing about redstone, and geez, I found it frustrating. I'm not kidding. I'm a fairly sort of technical guy. I'm a fairly smart sort of guy, I think. And I just wasn't getting it. It was so illogical, and I'm a very logical person, and I hated it at the beginning. But you know what? I persevered. I watched videos, but also read a lot. The wiki is pretty wicked for this sort of stuff. So the Minecraft wiki is really, really awesome. But I just persevered, and I started doing small things and just experimenting to understand how redstone worked. And in the end, it actually is fairly logical. It does have a few things that are quite weird, but that's just life. And then I just got better and better at it, made more inventions. And eventually my redstone skill got up to a point where I could actually implement some pretty awesome things. And then I was able to create some crazy inventions, my Wither Skeleton farm, the Wither Sandwich, the Wither Taco, the Ultimate Golden XP farm, a whole bunch of fairly original inventions, and I'm really proud of them. And it was, once again, it was just about doing it. The biggest obstructions you're going to have in life are not the obstructions. It's you getting over them, you doing it. And that is the most difficult thing, for people to mentally just go, right, that's it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep persevering, and I'm just going to get the job done. Am I ever going to do a vlog, or am I going to keep my identity secret? Wow. Over on this side of the fence, that's a really tough question. It's interesting you ask that, because I've been giving it a lot of thought in the last few months, especially from the end of last year, whether I'm ever going to be doing something like that. This is a really tough question to answer, because there are just every man, woman and child and their dog is making vlogs at the moment. So you have to be a massive cut above the rest, innovating, high editing quality. This is a really tough question to answer. Honestly, it is. You could just do vlogging for the sake of vlogging. I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste my time doing that. If I'm going to be doing anything vlogging, I want it to be something special, and I want to be able to achieve a real good level of success. I know everybody says that, everyone wants that, but I'm a little bit more practical and pragmatic about it, that I have a reasonable sense of what can work and what can't. And just getting on, making a vlog like everyone else is doing, getting 1,000 views an episode is not what I'm going to do. I know that sounds a little bit pretentious, but I've got to use my time effectively and successfully, and that's sort of what I do. So if I was to ever do something, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be innovative. It's going to have some originality to it, and it's going to be done in a different way, hopefully, than anyone else has done. So the answer is sort of a yes. Look, if I had the time and I had the ability to do something good, I probably would do it. Now, in terms of someone's identity, I'm going to talk in general terms about that. As soon as you expose yourself to the internet in a vlog or whatever, it's not so much the fact that you can then be identified. What I think the real problem is the scrutiny, especially if you become popular. If you become popular and there's literally millions of people watching you, you come under intense scrutiny, and everyone scrutinizes everything about you. Now, I don't need that in my life. YouTube is not something that pays the bills for me. I have a good, stable career, and YouTube is something that, thankfully, I've got the time to bring you really good stuff. So do I want to expose myself to scrutiny like that? No, not really. There'd have to be something in it for me, and at the moment, I can't really see that. So, yeah, it's a really tough question. Another problem in this day and age, especially with the internet, is for someone who may have a career and is a professional or even a tradesperson, and that's their job, that's their career, and then they have this public side of them, I'm not sure whether that's good, because, as I said, people will scrutinize. So whether it be your boss or a future contract with someone, that future employer may form an opinion from what you do on the other side of the fence, and that can be a real showstopper, a real problem. Now, if I ever reached a point in my life like I'm Donald Trump or Zuckerberg or something where you got billions of dollars, you just don't give a what anybody thinks, then you can just do it and not care what anyone does. I'm not quite at that stage in my life yet. By the way, I don't want to be like Donald Trump. This comment says, too bad it ended so soon. I would love 3 or more episodes a week. Look, I don't think it ended that quickly. I ran it for almost 6 months, so I think that's a pretty fair run. In terms of like more than 1 episode a week, the problem with that is life throws things at you that just sometimes you can't do it. Like, you're just not going to get that second episode out. My goal with once a week was pretty achievable, but even then, I basically tried to get the episodes out on a Thursday. So it was about lunchtime in the UK and Europe, and around the morning time on Thursday in the US. I tried to get these episodes out. But I always said it's always once a week, Thursday/Friday, meaning I just allowed myself a buffer zone. And I tell you what, I spilled over into that Friday a couple of times because I was down to the wire. Editing wasn't going so well, or something was disrupting it. So look, once a week for me works, and it means you are going to get it once a week. And I'd rather that than say, look, you're going to get 2 a week maybe. So it's like 2 a week, and then suddenly it's 1 a week, and then 2 a week. I'd rather give you something that I can stick to and I know it's an achievable goal. The sports I like are cricket and tennis. Yeah, I know it's a bit non-American, but that's the way it is. What is the Iron Portal, and is it just a resource pack change, blah, blah, blah? Okay, I'll answer this quickly. Obviously, someone wants to know about it. It's both. Okay, so when False Symmetry came into the Hermit chunk, I gave her a resource pack that changed obsidian to iron ore and changed the color of the portal. That's how she did it. So the issue I had on the Hermit chunk was I did have other portals in the scene that I had to have both. So what I did was I actually did make a portal out of iron ore, and what you do is you insert portal blocks into it, because the swirly portal thing is just a block. So you can actually insert it, use MC Edit, or you can use the /setBlock command to put a portal block in there. So there are ways you can do it, and it works like a normal portal. Okay, Spencer Bell's asked, will you make a compilation of every slow motion speaking fail moment? Probably not. So I'm sure someone else can do that. That's just going to take a lot of time to go through all the videos and find all the drama and put it into one thing. It would be a cool thing to do, but you know what? What I want to do now is just focus my attention on what comes next and go with that. Okay, someone's likened my interrogation techniques to Batman. That's pretty funny. But they did ask a question, what are my opinions on modded? Look, I have actually just really seriously considered a modded series, whether it be Feed the Beast or maybe Crazy Craft. Might be something I do. It's a little bit different. I have done some modded, never on this channel, but I have played modded. I'm really bad at it, but could be something I do. The real question is it going to give you guys some good content for you to watch and enjoy? Not sure, but I am considering it. What did I study? Okay, that's an easy answer, but I might turn it into a long one. I left home at a fairly young age and got through high school with physics, computer science, English, maths and advanced maths, roughly that sort of combination. I then went on to university and some pretty crappy jobs. I was delivering pizzas, driving taxis and stuff just to get through university. Well, at university, I did 2 majors in science and engineering with a minor in arts. So it was a bit of a struggle to get through, but I did. And although in my life now I don't directly use the stuff I studied, but it was an invaluable learning experience that gave me a whole range of skills that I do keep using today. Okay, last question. What is the plan for the future of this channel? I'll tell you one thing, guys, I've done myself a bit of a disservice. I've set the bar really high. You know, episode 19 and 20, geez, I've got to keep pumping out that content again. Okay, so the big questions that are going through my mind at the moment are, do I keep going with single player? Do I go back on a multiplayer? Do I stick with Minecraft? One thing, I think I definitely need to do something other than Minecraft. I'm almost at that point where I've been doing it for almost 2.5 years now. It's probably time to branch out and try something different. That's going to make a lot of people sad, probably, that are here for the Minecraft. I'm probably never going to stop Minecraft. I know a lot of YouTubers say that, and as soon as the money starts pouring in from other things, they stop Minecraft, but I don't think it's going to happen here. I'm probably going to have a completely different type of video come out in the next week or two. It's not going to be even game related. It's going to be real life stuff. So I'm just putting it together, seeing if it's going to work. It involves destruction, so some of you are going to like it anyway. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So I have got quite a few awesome ideas in the pipeline. It's just about choosing which one's going to work, how I'm going to execute it, when I'm going to record it. And all those things are getting worked out now, but you can rest assured stuff's going to be coming out. It's going to be pretty good, and I'm sure you're going to all have a lot of fun watching it. So I think I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I've been talking probably too long. The channel's going great. Very soon we're about to hit 40,000 subscribers. My most watched video is literally within about a week is going to hit 1 million views. I am so proud of that, guys. Not many channels, even big ones, can claim that they've got a video that's got 1 million views. So that is a huge milestone. I'm so happy about it, and it's an enormous achievement, and I'm really proud of it. So we're about to hit 40,000, got 1 million views coming up on a video. The Hermit Chunk Challenge is still going strong. I think the first episode's approaching 80 or 90,000 views. I'm so happy with that. So things are going really good. I'm really motivated, and your response on the last episode was just enormous. A huge like ratio, probably the biggest I've ever seen, and wonderful, sincere and warm comments. It's just great. Guys, it keeps me going. Anyway, I'm going to sign out now, and I'll see you all in the next chapter.